The talk is that he would like a job back in the Premier League. Mauricio Pochettino.
Well, can I have a job in the Premier League? Yeah, we all will.
Had his mind set on the Manchester United job. Obviously, they've gone with Ten Hag. We know that that's not going. We know that top 6 side's pretty stable with what they've got going on at the moment.
Well, if he waits long enough, he'll make it his job at Tottenham back.
OK. We're going to go there.
Oh, was you? I didn't know. I didn't read that far down the email.
You didn't? I know. I thought you'd read the email today.
I have. It's too long.
My question is, though, has his stock dropped? And if so, how much?
Yes. Yeah, I think so. I think primarily because what he was doing at Tottenham, I think in a sense was overachieving. And in some sense, although he has won Ligue 1, there is a sense of underachievement at PSG and not been able to handle a very difficult dressing room, it seems, and maybe even a sporting director, technical director, call it what you want, and bridge that gap. So I would say, yeah, I'm much happier. If I was a United fan, I think I'm happier with Ten Hag at that club than I am with Pochettino.
Why?
Just my opinion.
Why?
Well, I think his stock has dropped, and I think Ten Hag has a very good CV. So that's only my opinion.
You'd have to look as well at PSG. He couldn't sort the dressing room out. So basically, right now, Manchester United, the dressing room is as big a problem as any. So if you're bringing in somebody who very recently couldn't handle a dressing room with egos...
But does it... That's that PSG. How many managers, top managers right now, could handle that PSG dressing room from everything that we hear, do you think?
Well,
does that not go in his favour that you could say, oh, well, it was at PSG where we know this has been well documented?
That's not the point, Kay. The point is that he's shown that with superstar names and big egos, he couldn't handle them. And if you look at Manchester United, you look in the dressing room, they've got superstar names with big egos. So anybody who looks at that and says, this guy's perfect for our club, that needs the brains tested.
Nedum, what do you think of it all? And I'm interested to know is where you think his future might lie, because we see in the article from Jules that he mentions the likes of Newcastle and Leicester, that yes, it's a level down, but there are ambitions at those clubs. Or could it be that it could be back to Spurs in the end?
Yeah, I think that is interesting. And I think the Newcastle element, it's just a nice little subplot for the Premier League as such, because for them, they will be very, very ambitious. You know, the investment that's going to come in, they're not planning on, say, finishing mid-table, hoping to finish top 10, that sort of thing. So with Pochettino, if it was true as well that it was linked with the United job, even though his stock may have dropped, people are still perceiving him to be like a good bet to rebuild a big football club, or a good bet to sort of find success for teams who were just on the verge of it. And arguably, you could say that's what Spurs were when he was in charge. So his stock theoretically may have dropped emotionally, but he's still finding himself in the same sort of banding, barring the Man United thing, in the Premier League. So I think it is an interesting one, because you know the style of play that you get with him. I think for Spurs, their fans remember those years really fondly. You remember them going to a Champions League final, and in some ways, you know, they were unlucky in the final because they played particularly well. But yeah, I think he'll be fine. I think he'll find these good jobs, because this PSG element, he can always say, like, we can talk about dressing rooms and egos and so on, but I don't think I've seen many dressing rooms like that PSG one. Like, people are hoping that's one that you'll never see again for all the talent that they have. Like, how do you manage that? How do you have those 3 players? You've got, like, the highest paid player in the history of football next to the second highest paid player in the history of football. And one's running, one's not running, you know, all this type of stuff. The chemistry's wrong. Team split. Some people attack, some people defend. You know, if everything was going well, then great. But that was a tough spot, I think, anyway, in my opinion, to be able to manage when things weren't going as well as, say, that you would like. So I think his stock, you know, it may be down in France, but in terms of England, let's say we spoke for ages about him being linked with Man United, one of the biggest football clubs in the world, and him potentially having the reins to that project. So I think overall, it will be a stain on his record, especially not winning the Liga title a year ago. But I think he'll be just fine, and I think he's not in a position where he has to completely rebuild his image, because he's still being linked with jobs for teams who are aspiring to be in the Champions League, teams who are aspiring to win trophies in a season. So, yeah, I don't really see much issue with him going forward.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.